Okay, let's talk about a real mystery. You've got two students heading off to college. On paper, they look identical. Same grades, same test scores, everything. But one of them absolutely soars, while the other one really struggles. So why? What's going on there? Today, we're going to crack this case and uncover the invisible rules that really decide who succeeds.
Here's the core of the puzzle. We've seen top universities open their doors wider than ever before, which is great. But students who are the first in their family to go to college are still, on average, not doing as well as their peers. It's like the doors are open, but there's an invisible wall right behind them. We need to figure out what that wall is made of.
And look, this isn't just a hunch. We're talking about hard data from a study of over 100,000 students. There is a real, persistent gap. First-generation students have GPAs that are about 6.7% lower than their peers. And what's really crucial here is that you can't explain this gap away with things like family income or high school grades. Nope. The real reason is hidden somewhere else entirely.
All right, so here's our game plan for this investigation. We're going to start by digging into the data for clues. Then we'll identify our prime suspect, this thing called the hidden curriculum. We'll look at a really cool experiment that basically proves it's the culprit. And after that, we'll figure out why this problem sticks around, and most importantly, what we can actually do to fix it.
So, let's start digging for clues. Now, the first thing you might assume is that maybe some students just aren't working as hard. But you know what? The data tells a completely different and way more interesting story. It's not about working less at all. It's about working differently.
To really get this, researchers basically split all the things a student does into two big buckets. On one side, you've got the formal curriculum. This is the obvious stuff, right? The class readings, the presentations, studying for midterms, everything on the syllabus. But on the other side, you've got the hidden curriculum. These are the unwritten rules, things like networking with your professors or joining those pre-professional student clubs.
And this is where it gets wild. When you look at the data, first-generation students actually put more time and effort into that formal stuff. They're doing more of the readings, they're giving more presentations. By all those official metrics, they are absolutely working harder.
But here's the other side of the coin, and it's the heart of the whole puzzle. While they're working harder on coursework, first-generation students are spending way less time. We're talking 14 to 26% less on these hidden activities that actually have a huge payoff. So the effort is there, 100%. It's just being channeled into the wrong places.
Okay, so if it isn't a lack of effort, what in the world is going on? Well, all the evidence points to one thing, this hidden curriculum. These are the secret handshakes, the unwritten rules of the game that really determine who gets ahead. Let's be super clear about what this means. The hidden curriculum is basically an invisible instruction manual for college. It's filled with all the strategies that are absolutely critical for success, but that nobody ever actually teaches you. Like knowing that office hours aren't really just for homework questions. They're your chance to build a relationship with a professor who could one day write you a killer letter of recommendation. Some students just know this stuff, maybe from family or friends, while everyone else is left to figure it out completely on their own.
And this whole thing creates two major roadblocks. First, there's an awareness gap. Some students literally don't even know that things like cold emailing alumni for advice is a thing you can do. And second, there's a beliefs gap. So even if they are aware of it, they might think, why would some important alum ever want to talk to me? They just don't believe that strategy will work for them.
So, this is a great theory, but how do we prove it? Well, researchers at UC Berkeley set up this brilliant experiment to see if the hidden curriculum really was the culprit. And they did it with a surprisingly simple little nudge.
So first, they needed a baseline. They offered students a service that helps them network, and then they just measured how much different groups were willing to pay for it. And bam, right there, a 30% gap. First-generation students valued it way less, which perfectly captures that awareness and beliefs gap we were just talking about. Then came the actual experiment. They took one group of students and sent them a super simple, brief message. All it did was make them aware of one simple fact, that networking with people you don't know, so-called cold networking, is a totally normal, acceptable, and effective way to build your career. That's it. And the result was, honestly, it was stunning. Just look at this. That one little piece of information, that one sentence, almost completely erased the 30% gap. This is so important. It proves the barrier wasn't money or ambition or how hard they worked. It was just a missing piece of information, a missing page in that invisible instruction manual.
Okay, this brings up another huge question, right?
If this information is so powerful, why don't students just go find it? Well, another experiment, this one using an AI college advisor, shows us exactly why that's so tricky. It's something called the information search trap.
So, when they gave students access to this AI advisor, the questions they asked were really telling. Continuing generation students, their questions were about these hidden curriculum topics 16% of the time. But for first-generation students, it was only 11%. And that points to the core of the trap. You can't search for a secret you don't even know exists.
And check this out, it gets even more interesting. When the AI actually pushed a hidden curriculum topic to them, like proactively suggested it, the difference was huge. Continuing generation students followed up on that suggestion almost half the time. First-generation students, only about a quarter. So it's not just a gap in finding the information, it's a gap in recognizing how valuable it is when it's handed right to you.
So what is the solution here? The research is crystal clear on this. If the problem is an invisible instruction manual, the solution is to make it visible for everyone. So let's talk about some real, actionable steps that universities can take, like, right now. Okay, for professors and staff, this stuff can start tomorrow. Don't just list your office hours on the syllabus. Take 2 minutes in class to explain why they matter. For mentorship, for recommendations, for career advice. You could even integrate a quick how-to on networking into a class where it makes sense. And be loud about why joining student organizations is a great strategic move. These little proactive nudges can change everything.
And at the university-wide level, the change needs to be built into the system. It's not enough to just have a career center and hope students find it. Universities have to actively push this critical information out there, run awareness campaigns, build this training right into first-year orientation, and use tech like an active AI advisor that doesn't just wait for questions but proactively teaches these hidden rules to every single student.
The researchers who did this work, Michael Kuna and Elaine Shen, just summed it up perfectly. They said that real equality of opportunity isn't just about opening doors. It's about making sure every student gets a copy of the unwritten rules of the game once they walk through those doors. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. This isn't just about being fair. It's about an incredible waste of talent. When you have brilliant, hardworking students being held back by rules they can't even see, everybody loses. So we have to ask, when success depends on a secret playbook, is access ever really equal to begin with?